Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Drago, that is not my real name, but you probably already knew that, and welcome back to yet another video. Now this video has been a long time coming. I've tried to record it several times in the past, but something always comes up. Either I dislike the end result or something interrupts me in the middle, so I never got it done, which is why I barely upload videos, and why there's such a huge interval between all of my videos. So yes, hopefully this will actually be the version that I upload, hopefully. But before I get into the video, I'm just going to mention some few other things. I am planning to remake my first two videos on the topic of blunt force and on the topic of swords, because I feel like I might have misrepresented the issue a little bit. I still stand by with most of the assertions I made in those videos, but not all of them. So I want to remake them in higher quality and with better points to better sort of bring forward my entire idea and points about blunt force and swords in ancient battlefields, ancient and medieval and Renaissance battlefields. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the King's Mirror. Specifically, the textile garments mentioned in the King's Mirror, because I find them to be rather interesting. So without further ado, we are just going to get straight into it. So the thing with textile garments in this period, in the high and late Middle Ages, is that there's a whole lot of ideas on how they should look like and what they should perform like. And this is especially true for garments meant to be worn under the armor. You see, pre-13th century or pre-late 13th century even, there is no depiction in art of any type of quilted undergarments worn under mail whatsoever. And this is a whole different topic that I'm going to make a video more in depth on sometime, maybe, hopefully. But the point is that I see two main alternatives to this. One is everybody didn't wear quilted garments, because there is mentions in written sources of what seem to be quilted garments. So either everybody didn't wear quilted garments, and what is also likely is that in the case of when quilted garments were worn, they were completely hidden under the male hauberks in such a way that they do not show under it. And this is a very common reenactorism with you have your gambeson showing under the mail. If a gambeson is worn going by period art, it should be hidden underneath the mail and completely invisible. Or it would not be worn at all, which is what I'm coming to now, because the King's Mirror describes a garment that, in my eyes, is likely an unquilted type of undergarment. First off, let's read what it says about them. First off, it mentions a garment worn underneath the mail as a Blautenpanzara, which is translated to sort of a soft panzara. And then he's wearing a metal plate. Over the metal plate he's wearing a hauberk, and over the hauberk he's wearing a Gordon panzara. Now, Gordon is a bit of a contextual word, but it can translate to good or strong or even hard. And so the difference between the one under and the one over is that the one under is soft and the one over is hard. But even so, that's not the only thing separating them two. Followed by the Gordon Panzara is, this shall be made in the same manner as I have described above. Taking a look further above in the text. And the thing I found that most likely this was referring to is the horse shabrak. And the horse shabrak is described as being quilted and made out of linen thoroughly blackened. As you know, shabraks are generally quilted. What this says is that the gambeson above is a gambeson, meaning it's quilted, and it is probably made by linen that's thoroughly blackened, but maybe not. It's a bit unclear at that point. It should be noted that the padded sources are described the same way in the text. He puts on hosen, he then puts on some male hosen, or male shorts, whatever you wish to call them. And over the male shorts, he puts on knee-length padded cuirasses, or padded shorts. And these are also described to be made in the same manner as above and made of linen thoroughly blackened. Looking at period art, of course, you do see both quilted gambesons worn over male, and the padded shorts were always quilted, which leads me to believe that the point made in the same manner as above refers to quilting rather than anything else. And therefore, I also believe that the soft panzara described underneath is not quilted, because it's not to be said to be made in the same manner as above. It's not made strong, it's soft. It's also, I should not neglect to mention, said to come down about mid-thigh, which either shows under the hauberk slightly, or if this is a long type of hauberk, is just hidden underneath it. It is hard to tell just what kind of length the hauberk described in the King's Mirror has, because it's not really described. It's sort of assumed that you just know it. But going back to the undergarment underneath, I feel like this is likely describing an unquilted undergarment for the reasons stated above, and which I find rather interesting because, well, at the same time it makes sense. You don't need a lot of padding on the male, and if you need padding with male, you can wear gambeson over, which is more comfortable. It's also good to do, which means it protects the male, and it's much easier to sort of get a new gambeson or repair a gambeson. Well, you can repair male as well, but you can't repair a gambeson, or you can get a new gambeson cheaper than you can get a male. So wearing gambeson over the male not only means that you do not have something thick in between your body and the male, which would mean that a lot of heat builds up, but you would also have an extra layer of protection on top of the male where it bothers the sort of tight fit the male is supposed to have less. And well, that's all really I have to say for today.